Vladimir Putin polled higher than Joe Biden among Trump voters. A new Economist YouGov poll shows that 19% of Trump supporters had a favorable view of Putin. Only 9% of Trump voters have a favorable view of President Biden. Compared to other world leaders, the poll shows Putin's favorability is on par with Canada's Prime Minister, Justin Trudeau, among Trump voters.
Yeah, I mean, Willie Geist, you look at these numbers, and Vladimir Putin, Trump voters actually have higher favorability ratings for Vladimir Putin, a guy who has invaded 2 European countries over the past 13, 14 years, shot down an airliner of civilians, continues to kill journalists and politicians that he doesn't like. And so these Trump voters have a higher favorability rating for him than the democratically elected leaders of Canada, of France, and of the United States of America. Now, where I came from in the Deep South, we would just call that un-American and would say, America, love it or leave it, growing up. There are no words, but this is a trend that's been going for some time. Can you imagine saying you have a more favorable rating, more favorable feelings for Vladimir Putin than the democratically elected presidents of 3 Western democracies?
No, I can't, but an awful lot of people in this country can, apparently. I actually am surprised the 19% is as low as it is, given the way that Donald Trump has talked about Vladimir Putin in somewhat glowing terms. But 9% for the sitting president of the United States. And Congressman Kinzinger, it gets at your point. That will shock people who watch this show. It will shock many Americans. But if you live in the information bubble where Joe Biden is the villain, Joe Biden is incompetent, Joe Biden is a bad president and a bad person, and that his family is corrupt, and all the things that they've been hearing for the last couple of years, that number actually makes perfect sense inside that bubble.
Yeah, well, look, I'll say, from my party's perspective, I think 19%, it's obviously extremely high. At least we can say 81% don't. But when you compare it to Joe Biden, you look at and say, look, he is an American president. You can fully disagree with what he's saying. You can disagree with his policies. But to sit here and say somehow he's anti-American, I can tell you who is anti-American, and that's Vladimir Putin, And I can tell you who's also not anti-American, Angela Merkel. So I just, again, this is a failure of leaders who are sitting with me in D.C. scared to tell the truth to their voters because they're afraid they might lose a primary. If everybody stands up and tells the truth, people are somehow going to learn some version of the truth. Instead, it's like me and Liz Cheney, and it's easy to separate us and demonize us.
Well